So now we're gonna go into places. What those places or the place that we live in have to do with type 2 diabetes? Does it have anything to do with it? What I'm about to show you probably might shock you like it shocked me when I learned about all of these numbers that explain what's going on around the world. And so I'm going to show you what are the places around the world that has the most type 2 diabetes. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. What are the places around the world that has the most type 2 diabetes? And so as you can see right here, China right now is about to go into one of the largest epidemics in the world, which is a type 2 diabetes epidemic. India is right below it, and United States is right below it. There is many names that they call this phenomenon, but there is a lot of confounding factors as to why this happens. And so as you can see right here, there is mainly three things that are going into it. And we've talked about every one of these things in our course. The first thing is genetic variance. So people have a tendency, kind of like states have a tendency to have tornadoes, but certain specific factors have to come into play for this to be triggered, right? And so there is genetic variance within the Chinese population that makes them have a tendency to this. And then we talked about DNA methylation, which is just turning off and on of genes. That's what that pretty much, which is the epigenetics. And so that comes together into heritage and epigenetics, and then the environment, right? And so it's almost like the biology, and the environment. And then that comes into obesity, aging, unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, and smoking right here at the bottom. Right here at the bottom. Right here. Right? And so you have the genetics, you have the epigenetics, and you have the environment. Right? And so it's a lot of the things that we have talked about in many different ways: heritage and epigenetics, and then environmental, and that's just a fancy word for the gene environmental interactions and the environmental derived epigenetics, meaning the things in our environment that turn on these genes. But then the biggest environmental factors: obesity, aging, unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, and smoking. These environmental factors affect our mindset, the way we look at our own lives, and then result in type 2 diabetes. If you looked at the chart that I showed you, the third country is United States. No wonder, I mean, United States is a pretty big part of this. And so now let's go into, we talked about why this happened. Now, is this all there is? Is this, I'm gonna clear this, boom. Okay, is this all there is? Is this the only way? Can we do something about it? Absolutely. So in this study right here, this study was actually done in Finland. And in Finland, what they realized is that when they did when they talked to farmers, they talked to doctors, they talked to psychologists, schools, they were able to reduce their cardiovascular rate from 45, almost on people from 35 to 64%, and it dropped by 57%. So let me say that again. For people ages 35 to 64, the cardiovascular rate dropped by 57%. And so that study was so successful that they actually recreated the study for another 20 years, and they were able to actually decrease these by 75% decrease, which is insane. So countries have actually the power to reduce this risk. Countries have the power to actually reduce this risk. And so which country do we live in? United States. And so is that a wonder why there is such a higher, or why you have type 2 diabetes or pre-type 2 diabetes? Yes, because all these confounding factors come into the country that we live in.